Exclusive Prism Sports presentation. Prism, for 15 years, the channel the 76ers call home.
Coming up now on 76ers Insider, moving forward, what's next for the Sixers? Throughout this half hour, you'll hear from Sixers owner Harold Katz on different aspects of moving forward. We'll bring on Daily News sports writer Dick Weiss to show you the most likely possibilities for the Sixers in the upcoming draft.
We'll also bring on Charles Barkley. I'm Tony Irving. And while it's too soon to say whether Charles will be moving forward as a Sixer, we do know that the Olympics in Barcelona, Spain is next on his agenda.
Finally, we'll see if the Sixers can get the luck of the draw. I'm Dee Lynam. 66 ping pong balls, lucky charms, probability, it's all part of Lottery Mania.
All of this, plus the regular monthly features, Chronicle, Tradition, and the Insider Quiz. I'm your host, John Gurevich, the May edition of 76ers Insider. Once again this month, we have Travel One on board as a sponsor. Travel One is the travel agency that books all of the Sixers flights and hotels. And even if that means being in Indianapolis on a Thursday, Los Angeles on a Saturday, and Denver on a Monday, which is a trip we had this year, Travel One will get it done. Use them for your travel arrangements. What does the future hold for the 76ers? Will they get lucky in the lottery? Or will you? Play Sixers Lucky Lottery with the Daily News and Prism. You could win a 4-day, 3-night vacation in the Bahamas or up to 250 Pennsylvania lottery tickets with a chance to win $20,000. To find out what day to play in the Daily News, call 339-7676, 339-7676 to get lucky in the lottery with the Sixers and Prism. Prism is the one channel for Sixers action.
In today's business climate, a luxury suite at Spectrum 2 is part of what it takes to be successful. The privacy and comfort of a suite makes you feel special. Service and the food are wonderful. And best of all, there's an incredible view of Flyers and Sixers action. My company just signed up for a suite in the new arena. It's good for our business and it's great fun. Whether you're interested in a suite or Superbox seats, call today.
Hey, welcome to the May edition of 76ers Insider, our final show for this season. This is a very exciting time to be a Sixers fan. Obviously a disappointing season, but now change is in the wind, and no one knows exactly right now what is going to happen. But we are into what is shaping up as one of the most interesting off seasons in memory. We have the Insider Quiz to get things rolling now, and since one of the things we're going to be talking about is the draft, and another is Charles Barkley, we thought we'd quiz you on the draft the year Charles first came to the Sixers. It was the 1984 draft, and it was the 5th pick overall that the Sixers used to select Barkley. As it turned out, Charles was only one of a couple of major impact players to get drafted that year. Our question is, who were the first 4 players selected before Charles Barkley in that 1984 draft? All 4 are still very much active in the NBA, 2 with their original team still, and 2 with different teams. The answer's coming up later in this half hour. Right now, let's get into our Chronicle segment. We're going to allow ourselves one more look back at the 1991-92 season, show you a couple of highlights. There weren't many, but there were some, and that's what we focus on here in Chronicle. Let's go way back first to the 5th game of the year. This was November 8th, and it was a 10-point win over a Golden State team that would go on to win more than 50 games. It was also part of an early 5-game winning streak that included the Sixers' only 40-point individual performance of the season, the 43 points Hersey Hawkins poured in a mid-November game at Orlando. You may remember the Sixers' thrilling weekend in early December. Portland was in town on a Friday night. Charles Barkley was out with a ribcage injury, and the Sixers got a desperation 3 from Johnny Dawkins at the end of overtime to win it. The next night, still without Charles, the Sixers battled Michael Jordan and company and came out with a 3-point win over Chicago. The best moments of the season were on January 8th with Houston at the Spectrum, After a 5-year absence and several weeks of rumors, Jeff Ruland was back in a Sixer uniform, and he keyed a 10-point win. His stats that night were okay, 9 points and 3 rebounds, but it was his presence on the floor and his court savvy that seemed to give the Sixers new life. Later in January, the Sixers put together a second 5-game winning streak, playing their best team ball of the season. Contributions came from a number of different players, and the Sixers battled back to a .500 record and seemed to be on their way to turning the season around. It was short-lived, though. Ruland suffered a new injury, and after January 24th, played in only 4 games the rest of the season. Still, hopes were raised again right after the All-Star break when the Sixers played at Miami on February 11th. The Sixers trounced the Heat that night, and in so doing again evened up their record at 24-24. That, as it turned out, was the last time the Sixers were at .500 and was pretty much the end of the highlights for 91-92.
So much for 91-92. Our theme this month is moving forward. What's next for the 76ers? Well, the lottery is set for next weekend, but if the Sixers do not get one of the first 3 picks in the draft, they will most likely have the number 9 selection when the draft itself rolls around on June 24th. Now, who's going to be available at number 9? For that, we talked to Dick Weiss, sports writer and college basketball expert from the Daily News. Just a brief interview to outline some of the possibilities. And to get into that, first a brief comment from the owner of the Sixers, Harold Katz.
I'll tell you one thing right now. There's a definite player. In this draft, there's a player up to probably 15. And I think that the fortunate part of the teams that didn't make the playoffs, like the 12, 13, 14, they're going to get a very good player. Unfortunately, you might get as good a player at 14 as you get at 9, because it's a matter of the eyes of the beholder. But I think it's so close.
Close enough to make it something of a guessing game at this point. Let's talk to Dick Weiss now.
Dick, first of all, welcome on board 76ers Insider.
Hey, John, it's nice to be here. It's nice to be back home, actually.
Let's talk a little bit about who is not going to be available for the 76ers with the number 9 pick that they most likely will have. Obviously,
you don't think those ping pong balls are going to roll the right way, huh?
It's certainly possible. We've got our fingers crossed. But certainly at number 9, Shaquille O'Neal will be gone. Obviously, Alonzo Mourning will be gone. Christian Laettner will be gone. And if they're available, Jimmy Jackson and Harold Miner will be gone as well. What other players are not going to be there when the Sixers get around to that number 9 pick?
Most people would suggest to you that Jackson and Harold Miner would be number 4 or 5. Even if they're not 4 or 5, they're most likely to be 5, 6. I happen to prefer Walt Williams from Maryland as the 4th best player in the draft because of his versatility and his ability to play both guard spots. But I believe that the first 6 players are probably predetermined. Then you're in a situation where some team will probably pick Adam Keith at 7 because there's a dearth of power forwards in the draft. Keith is a 6'9", 230-pound power forward from Stanford who has an excellent grasp of the game, an excellent shooter, and I think he'll be gone. So now you're basically coming down to 9. 9 will probably be either Tom Gugliotta from North Carolina State, Malik Sealy from St. John's, Tracy Murray from UCLA, Anthony Peeler from Missouri, Todd Day from Arkansas, or Bryant Stith from Virginia. Those are the players I like at 9. There are other players who might get some interest just because of they are very intriguing to specific owners, guys like Robert Horry, who was a legitimate rebounder, shot blocker at Alabama, Doug Christie, who can play both positions out of Pepperdine. But basically, I think that's the group we're talking about.
No real center, no real big man that would be worth picking at number 9?
No, I don't think you, I mean, after the big 3, you're really down into a second level of centers. You're talking Oliver Miller, who really needs some weight control programs. I heard he showed up in Orlando at 320, and that's not a real good weight to show up at it unless you want to be a Dwayne Chintz's pick. I also think that Elmore Spencer from Nevada, Las Vegas is no better than a backup center and could easily be a second rounder if you're looking for a starter. So I have some serious questions whether there's anybody else. I mean, Keith can make this transformation and play the 5 if need be, but he'd be a small 5 at 6'9", and because he doesn't have morning shot blocking skills, it would be more of a stretch for him.
Dick, a pleasure as always to talk to you. And I just wanted to mention you had mentioned you've been on the road for most of the
Yeah, this is
past
fun.
winter.
I spent the year in Lexington doing a book with Rick Pitino called Full Court Pressure. It's about a season in Kentucky basketball, and it talks about the phenomenon that exists down there that probably doesn't really exist anywhere else.
Dick, good luck with your project, with your book, and thanks again for being on with us.
Thank you very much, Jim.
Sports writer Dick Weiss from the Daily News. Coming up next on 76ers Insider, Charles Barkley ponders his future.
I mean, it's not a situation I don't want to get traded, but I'm not going to cry about it. I mean, sometimes it may be good I stay here, it may be good I go. I mean, we'll talk about where I play basketball at. I don't think that's a significant thing in life to worry about.
Now, the Travel One Sixers Travel Log. Team representatives will be at NBA Entertainment headquarters in North Jersey May 17th for the Draft Lottery. Also, out in Chicago in early June for the Chicago Pre-Draft Camp, the last look at some key college players. And in Portland for the draft itself, June 24th. Travel One is the official travel agency of the 76ers.
This is the story of two houses. 4 years ago, the Taylor house was painted. In the same year, the Baker house had beautiful vinyl siding from Sears installed. Today, the Taylor house is peeling and cracking again. But the Baker house, with vinyl siding from Sears, looks as good as the day it was installed.
If you want to enhance the beauty of your entire home, or if you have a brick home with just hard-to-paint eaves and overhangs, do it right with maintenance-free vinyl siding from Sears. And do it now, because if you're a homeowner and you call now, you'll receive a free in-home estimate. So if you want your home to look fresh and new year after year and enjoy big savings, don't pick up a paintbrush, pick up a phone and call for your free estimate now.
Call 1-800-522-8300 right now and arrange for your free in-home estimate on Sears install siding. You can make your home look like new. Call 1-800-522-8300.
We are now going to reveal what team Charles Barkley will next be playing for. Actually, the next team is going to be the U.S. Olympic team. As far as him being traded, I'll probably find out about 5 minutes before you do. It was a long season for Charles. The lowest scoring average he's had in 5 years, the third lowest rebound total he's ever had, his lowest field goal and free throw percentages since his first couple of years in the league, and a long list of off-the-court problems. Still, the best player the Sixers have, and one of the 10 best players in the league. Tony Irving reports on where Charles Barkley's head is at now. But first, let's listen to what Harold Katz is saying about Charles Barkley.
I don't think it's Charles' his decision whether he's back or not. I mean, I'm a '90s owner. I'm going to do what I think is right for the team, and I'm not going to have him. And I'm not going to use his quote, but I'm not going to have him dictate to us what we're going to do. So whether he wants to or not, if that's best for the team, he's going to be here. I will say that we're not going to trade him just to get rid of him. If we do trade, we want something back. When you make that type decision with a player of his magnitude, you've got to give it, maybe I'm working on my second year of thought, maybe it takes 2 years to think about it, but I think when you make a trade for a player of this magnitude, you really got to think it out. If the right deal came, yeah. I mean, if the right deal was there, I think that we're ready to make a move, if the right deal was there.
So Charles may or may not be gone. But as Tony Irving now tells us, Charles obviously has his own thoughts.
After 8 seasons as a Sixer, Charles Barkley has come to a fork in the road. Will he return next year, or is he destined to wear another uniform? At this point, the jury is still out. But one thing is clear. Barkley will wear the red, white, and blue of the United States as he pursues Olympic gold.
I don't think we can be beat. We're just going to go out and play up to our capabilities. We're going to win the gold medal.
In Barcelona, Spain, Barkley will be a member of the Dream Team. Take your choice of Scottie Pippen or Karl Malone at forward, Michael Jordan or Magic Johnson at guard, and Patrick Ewing or David Robinson at center. For Charles Barkley, it'll be a dream come true.
When you play with great players, the game is real easy because everybody's on the same page. They think a little bit better than everybody else. So it's going to obviously make the game a lot easier for everybody.
When does practice break down? When do you meet? How does the whole thing work out as far as schedule goes?
We meet the last week in June for a week. We have a tournament because we don't get an automatic bid. Only the home team and the team that won the last goal gets an automatic bid. I would get 2 weeks off, go to Monte Carlo for 10 days, then the Olympics for 10, 12, 14 days. So that's the first 2 weeks of August. So it won't take that long. All total, I think it takes about 5 weeks.
While Barkley looks forward to the Olympics, this past season is one he would rather forget. There was talk of a potential trade with the Lakers. There was the punching incident in Milwaukee. Barkley was critical of general manager Gene Shue and the Sixer organization in general. Too often, the focus shifted away from the court. But when you only win 35 games, frustration sets in. And for a man who likes to speak his mind, the frustration was too much to bear.
Our team just wasn't good enough. We've made too many changes, and our chemistry is not there, and everybody's not on the same page.
Anything you would have done differently, just in terms of maybe something that you said or on or off the court?
No, not really. If a guy follows me 2 blocks, I'm going to hit him again. That's no joke there. I just wish, it's very frustrating. I'm not getting any younger, and I just can't play basketball for money, which is what you would be doing if you put a mediocre product out there, which is what we did. And it's not fair.
Whether it was a combination of talent or chemistry, the Sixers were never close to being a successful team. Up and down the roster, you could find pockets of inconsistency.
I mean, there's a reason you lose 47 games. Your team is just not good enough. Good teams don't lose 47 games, and it's very frustrating. But those, nothing you can do about it.
Philosophically, do you agree with the organization's approach to acquiring players and how they want to put things together on the court?
Well, that's their decision. I think they went out last year and tried to get some players. It just didn't work. And I like Harold, and I think he does the best he can. But, obviously the players we brought in, it just didn't work out right. And we've got to make some changes, because that was not fair to me, the other players, or the fans. Because the only losers, this is the fans. It means all the players make their money and they're happy. I feel bad for Jimmy Lynam, but he's the only person who got rooked in the fans. Everybody else came out a winner, and that's unfortunate.
Will Barkley go, or will he stay? Only your owner knows for sure. Harold Katz will have the final say, and from day to day, even he's not sure. But if Charles has to go, he says he can deal with it.
I mean, it's not a situation I don't want to get traded, but I'm not going to cry about it. I mean, sometimes it may be good I stay here, it may be good I go. I mean, we're talking about where I play basketball at. I don't think that's a significant thing in life to worry about.
So come what may, don't expect Charles Barkley to lose any sleep. He'll be having too much fun playing with Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, and Magic Johnson. If his 9th season as a Sixer is not to be, Charles wants to be remembered for an honest day's work and nothing else.
Just a guy who worked hard. I mean, this is my job. I'm not here to impress people. People like me or dislike me, that doesn't matter. But when you go to your job, you got to just do the best you can. And I've done the best I can. I don't have to impress people. If people like me, that's great. If they don't, I can't worry about that.
Well, what about worrying about those lottery ping pong balls? We will, as 76ers Insider continues.
Come on, 1 in 22. It's if you have to call heads or tails, you feel a lot better. It's a long shot that you get a top pick with just but 3 chances.
This month's program is sponsored by Travel One, the official travel agency of the 76ers, with offices throughout the Delaware Valley to serve all your business or vacation travel needs. Travel One guarantees you the lowest fares, the highest level of service, and no surprises.
If you want to learn some of this stuff, there's only one place to go, the 76ers camps. Call 542-CAMP now for overnight and day camp information.
Welcome back to 76ers Insider, our final edition for 91-92. Still to come on the show, a look at next weekend's NBA Draft Lottery and the answers to the Insider Quiz. Right now, though, tradition, our monthly look back at Sixers past. This month, a look back at a former Sixers coach, the venerable Jack Ramsay, who on Monday is being inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Well, it's a great honor, John. It really hasn't hit me completely yet. I was talking to Billy Cunningham, who called me after I had been selected, and he said, you won't really feel it until you're up there, and it actually happens, and you'll see the people that you're in with, and you'll get a sense of what the whole thing is about.
The others this year are Bob Lanier, Lou Carnesecca, and Connie Hawkins. Jack Ramsey is a Philadelphia native who played at St. Joe's in the 1940s, and competing then against teams led by the nationally prominent coaches of the day, got hooked on getting into coaching himself.
I decided then that this was something that I really wanted to do because I could see the influence that the coach had on his team. And I thought I'd like to try that. That seems fascinating to me.
Ramsey became the St. Joe's coach in 1955, and after 11 very successful seasons there, he moved to the Sixers, first as general manager in 1966, and then 2 years later as coach, a position he held for 4 seasons and 174 victories. Later, Jack coached the old Buffalo Braves, then the Portland Trail Blazers, where he got an NBA championship in 1977, and finally the Indiana Pacers.
I know from the start, though, that nobody gets there by himself, John, for any of those things. And there are so many people that have a hand in my getting to the Hall of Fame that, you know, there's almost an uncountable number of people who have paved the way for me to get there.
Jack Ramsey getting inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame on Monday. The Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield, Massachusetts. Well, Sunday, May 17th is the NBA Draft Lottery, the intriguing process that the NBA uses to determine who gets the top 3 picks in the draft. The Sixers' odds of getting the number 1 pick, 22-1. The odds of getting any of the top 3 choices, about 6.7 to 1. As D. Lynham will now tell us, now is the time for good luck charms. Again, though, first a quick comment from Harold Katz, who is looking for the ping pong ball that would bring the Sixers the number 1 selection.
We're going to get that ball, by the way. I feel very lucky on that. I feel if I could have bought some balls, I would have bought some balls. I'll tell you right now. We have a 22-1 shot for the first pick. We have 11-1 on the second pick, and I think comes down to 6-1 on the third pick. So we have a shot. I mean, we have a chance. And you spin it, and anybody has a chance. So I feel lucky. I think that we're overdue for some luck. And I do feel lucky, I'll be honest with you.
Luck is exactly what it'll take. D. Lynham now reports on Lottery Mania.
The second pick in the 1985 NBA draft goes to the Indiana Pacers.
The horseshoe works. Basketball is back in New York City, my friends.
The second pick in the 1991 NBA draft goes to the New Jersey Nets. There's Alan Briscoe of the Hornets. They've got the top pick. That the first pick in the 1991 NBA draft goes to the Charlotte Hornets.
Lottery.
Yes, the Sixers will get a chance at their own lottery luck on May 17th. On that day, the NBA will determine just who will draft where with the first 11 picks. Now, the NBA lottery has definitely gone through evolution, and if you're not completely up on how it works, here's an overview of the system.
You put the ball in here, and then he hits a lever, and the ball goes into the drum, and then we do that for each team until we have all the 66 balls in. Then we turn on the switch. It makes a lot of noise, so don't be surprised at that. A lot, kind of a roaring noise. The balls will be mixing for 30 seconds. And he hits another lever, and a ball pops up into here, and we'll tell you who's number 1.
The Sixers finished with the 9th worst record, so they'll be receiving 3 ping pong balls in the bin. How optimistic should one feel?
Come on, 1 in 22. It's if you have to call heads or tails, you feel a lot better. It's a long shot that you get a top pick with just but 3 chances.
Some people may think that's heavy odds, but how many times have you seen horse races where 22-1 or better odds wins the race?
And if that long shot does come in, what a payoff. Shaquille O'Neal is waiting patiently in the wings, and there is little question he will be taken at number 1.
I don't want to be speaking, out of turn for the Sixers not having a caucus, but we seem to be pretty unanimous by everybody who's seen the players that Shaquille's going to be the top pick by whatever team. He's going to have a dramatic impact. Again, I'm not saying he's going to automatically bring a team the NBA championship, but that he's a big, strong, physical type of player who's equipped to play the center position. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
Getting Shaquille would be a godsend. Drafting at 2 or 3, that means you are the runner-up. The Sixers would still be in a very good position to improve their team.
I think the next 2 players, not necessarily in this order, would be Alonzo Mourning from Georgetown and Kristen Leitner from Duke. And that's probably a case a little bit of maybe one's needs or beauty in the eye of the beholder. They're probably a little bit different in that Mourning is more of an inside player, Leitner maybe a little bit more of a perimeter player.
And if the Sixers don't get 1, 2, or 3, well, better to think with optimism at this point. So cross your fingers and hope for, yes, that number 1 pick. And of course, pull out all the stops when it comes to your lucky charms.
I have a lucky tie, and I'm going to take my lucky tie with me. It's not this tie, by the way. You've had your eye on this tie.
Do you have a lucky charm?
Well, I'll tell you, I do have a lucky charm. They are orchid shoes. So I guess on May 17th, I'll put those shoes on and wear them to work that day.
Maybe somebody would think that the more you root, the closer you follow it, the better your chances are. I tend to think that, good things might sneak up on you.
There's more coming up when 76ers Insider continues the answers to the quiz. What does the future hold for the 76ers? Will they get lucky in the lottery? Or will you? Play Sixers Lucky Lottery with the Daily News and Prism. You could win a 4-day, 3-night vacation in the Bahamas or up to 250 Pennsylvania lottery tickets with a chance to win $20,000. To find out what day to play in the Daily News, call 339-7676, 339-7676 to get lucky in the lottery with the Sixers and Prism. Prism is the one channel for Sixers action.
I used to beat the competition with a convincing fake and a pretty good slam dunk. But in the business world, those moves don't work. What does work are Superbox seats at Spectrum 2, the new arena. There's indoor parking, a VIP entrance, big, comfortable seats, and a sensational view of all the Sixers and Flyers action. In business, I know what it takes to be successful. And when Spectrum 2 opens, you better believe the doctor will be in.
All right, the Insider Quiz. At the beginning of the show, we asked you to look back at the 1984 draft, the year the Sixers had the 5th selection overall and used it to pick Charles Barkley. Let's see what you came up with.
Who were the first 4 players selected before Charles in 1984? First was Akeem Olajuwon, taken out of the University of Houston by the Houston Rockets, for whom, at least for now, he is still employed. Second, Sam Bowie from the University of Kentucky, drafted by the Portland Trail Blazers and now a member of the New Jersey Nets. Third, the University of North Carolina's Michael Jordan, selected by the Chicago Bulls. And fourth, another Tar Heel, Sam Perkins, going to the Dallas Mavericks and now playing for the Los Angeles Lakers.
Just goes to show the draft is an inexact science at best. It's easy to say now that Michael Jordan should have been the #1 pick in the 1984 draft and that Charles Barkley should have been picked in front of Bowie and Perkins, but now is now and then was then. This is my lucky penguin, and I will be stroking his head come lottery day, and if this doesn't get it done for the 76ers, well, I don't know what will. Hey, thanks for watching 76ers Insider. We'll see you next year.
Clothing was provided by Tory, the official clothier of the 76ers. Regular, big, and tall sizes, 36 to 70. Clothing, sportswear, and outerwear.